In 1953, 7 men sat down to dinner at the Plaza Hotel in New York. They were the presidents of America's biggest cigarette companies, and they had just been shown a secret laboratory report. Scientists had painted cigarette tar on the backs of mice. The mice grew tumors. The men in that room didn't call a doctor. They didn't call the government. They called a public relations firm. That night, they didn't just launch a marketing campaign. They launched the longest-running act of corporate deception in American history, one that would last 4 decades, cost billions of dollars, and sit quietly behind the deaths of 500,000 Americans a year. This is the story of how an industry looked cancer in the eye and lied to the world for 40 years. Rewind further, the 1930s and 40s. Cigarettes are not a vice, they're a lifestyle. Doctors appear in magazine ads holding a pack, smiling. Camel runs the line, "More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette." Soldiers get cigarettes in their army rations. Hollywood stars never appear on screen without one. By the early 1950s, over half of American men smoke. It is one of the most profitable, most trusted consumer industries on Earth. Then, in December 1953, a study lands on executive desks. Researchers at the Sloan Kettering Institute have shown that cigarette tar, painted directly onto the skin of laboratory mice, causes cancerous tumors. For an industry built entirely on the idea that its product is harmless, even healthy, this is an extinction-level threat. So the presidents of American Tobacco, Benson and Hedges, Philip Morris, and others meet at the Plaza Hotel, and they hire the biggest PR firm in the country, Hill & Knowlton, with a single assignment: make the public doubt the science. In January 1954, the industry publishes a full-page ad in over 400 newspapers across America. It's called a frank statement to cigarette smokers. It says the industry accepts an interest in people's health as a basic responsibility, paramount to every other consideration. It promises to fund independent research to get to the truth. It sounds responsible. It sounds like accountability. It is the opposite. That same statement announces the creation of the Tobacco Industry Research Committee, a body that will spend the next 4 decades funding studies designed not to find answers, but to manufacture the appearance of scientific disagreement where none actually existed. Internal memos later revealed the strategy in blunt terms. One tobacco executive would eventually put it in writing: "Doubt is our product, since it is the best means of competing with the body of fact that exists in the mind of the general public." The playbook is simple and brutally effective. Fund scientists who produce favorable results, highlight any dissenting voice, no matter how fringe, attack the credibility of independent researchers, never say the word safe, just keep saying not proven. For 40 years, this machine runs. Company scientists internally confirm nicotine is addictive and smoking causes cancer, while company lawyers and executives publicly say the science is still open. In 1964, the US Surgeon General releases a landmark report directly linking smoking to lung cancer. The industry's response isn't to change course, it's to escalate the doubt campaign, funding even more industry-friendly research, lobbying harder in Washington, and expanding advertising into new markets, including teenagers. Through the 1970s and 80s, the industry's fortress holds. Lawsuits from sick smokers are filed and mostly lost. The companies bury plaintiffs' lawyers under mountains of paperwork and simply outspend them. But behind the scenes, evidence is accumulating in company vaults. Internal research shows executives knew in astonishing detail exactly how addictive their product was and exactly how it caused disease, decades before the public would find out. Then, in 1994, the moment that starts the collapse. 7 tobacco company CEOs are called before Congress. Under oath, one by one, they each state that they do not believe nicotine is addictive. It becomes one of the most infamous moments in corporate testimony history, because that same year, a whistleblower steps forward. Dr. Jeffrey Wiegand, former head of research at Brown and Williamson. He goes public, revealing that his own company manipulated nicotine levels to keep smokers hooked, while executives lied to Congress about it. Around the same time, boxes of leaked internal documents, memos, research reports, marketing strategy papers start reaching journalists, lawyers, and state attorneys general. The paper trail the industry spent 40 years trying to keep buried is suddenly public. State after state files lawsuits, arguing tobacco companies knowingly hid the truth and cost taxpayers billions in smoking-related healthcare costs. In 1998, the major tobacco companies signed the Master Settlement Agreement with 46 U.S. states. It's the largest civil legal settlement in American history, over $200 billion, paid out over 25 years to cover the public health costs of smoking. But money isn't the same as a verdict. The real reckoning comes 8 years later. In 2006, U.S. District Judge Gladys Kessler rules in a landmark federal case, United States versus Philip Morris. Her conclusion after a 9-month trial is not gentle. She finds that the major tobacco companies engaged in a decades-long conspiracy to deceive the American public, deliberately, knowingly, and for profit, about the dangers of smoking and the addictiveness of nicotine. The court's own language calls it a fraud spanning 50 years, one of the largest and most damaging conspiracies in this country. The companies are found to have violated federal racketeering law, the same statute historically used against organized crime. By this point, the human cost is staggering. Smoking is linked to roughly 480,000 American deaths each year, more than car accidents, alcohol, illegal drugs, murders, and suicides combined. And the documents show the industry's own scientists understood this risk back in 1953, over half a century before the final verdict. Here's what makes this story different from a stock market crash or a bank collapse. Nobody woke up one day and realized the tobacco industry's fortune had quietly turned to ash. The people who built that fortune knew from the very beginning exactly what it was built on. They chose optics over honesty, doubt over disclosure, quarterly profits over decades of preventable death. And for 40 years, it worked. Because there was no internet to leak a document overnight, no whistleblower could go viral in an hour, and doubt, once planted well enough, can survive for a generation. The tobacco industry didn't die in 1998, and it didn't die in 2006. It's still a profitable business today, but its fortune now sits permanently next to its funeral, a court ruling that will follow it forever, a settlement written into state budgets, and a body count that outlived every executive who signed off on the cover-up. Because in the end, this is the same lesson every episode of this channel keeps returning to. Every fortune has a funeral. Sometimes it just takes 40 years for the invitations to go out.